Hello folks, this is Greg Gilbert, host of Python's Paradise, getting near the end of the 1996 year and film reviews, my first year as a film critic. And of course, as the ranking goes, I always pick 5 films. That's what I've been doing here, going after the 5 films that interested me the most and what my end thoughts were on those. And of course, if you're in the A zone, you're awesome. If you're in the B zone, you're better than I could expect. If you're in the C zone, you could have been better. If you're in the D zone, don't see it. And if you're in F, you're fucked. We're talking about November, and I gotta say, out of the 12 months, my 5 picks are the worst for November, because I only recommend one of the 5. So the films I anticipated in were largely letdowns for me. And the films I'm going to be talking about are Bad Moon with Michael Perry and Meryl Hemingway. That's a werewolf movie. Larger Than Life with Bill Murray and Gian Garofalo. We have Space Jam with Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes. We have Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. And finally, we have 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close. Now, my thoughts. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. And I looked forward to all these films, but this was my most disappointing month of 1996. Because we got 2 Fs. And I think the worst of those Fs, and the worst offender, was Jingle All the Way. I mean, I remember before Jingle All the Way came out, there was this big hysteria over the Elmo doll, the Tickle Me Elmo doll. And, here, there was a security guard or 2 that got trampled, and luckily this one here wasn't killed, but he was injured over this fucking stuffed toy and the selfishness that accompanied it. And Jingle All the Way really pissed me off because it's almost like it was making light of that. Because I know here wasn't the only place the Tickle Me Elmo doll made a fuss. And for me, I could care less over that fucking toy, and I never got it. Never understood it. There's stuff I've wanted before that I've never gone out, that caused that much hysteria for me to get it. So, like, I'm a collector of the Origin Masters of the Universe figures. What we don't have in our stores here, I don't have. I got the figures that were in the stores here. If they're at a reasonable price, I'll order them online. But I'm not going to go and trample somebody to get at something, So Jingle All the Way, of course, you got this kid who wants a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is going out of his way, does battle against Sinbad, a mail carrier, in order to get this fucking action figure. And they take Schwarzenegger's action film and dumb them down here to him clubbing a line of Santas with a giant candy cane. Schwarzenegger is horrible in this movie. But he's not the worst offender. Sinbad is downright over the top. Phil Hartman, who was in the not good, but certainly better than this film, Sergeant Bilko, back in March, is in this as this sleazy, womanizing neighbor that wants to hook up with Schwarzenegger's wife, played by Kelly Preston. This movie was just shit. Easily one of the worst fucking movies of the year. It should jingle all the way into the trash can. Fuck that film. The next big offender that got an F is Larger Than Life. I'm a big fan of Bill Murray. But there's nothing worse than seeing a Bill Murray movie that isn't funny. Now, that's not to say that Bill Murray can't do a drama. You know, like I wasn't rolling on the ground laughing when he was in Lost in Translation, but I wasn't supposed to. But you look at the trailer for Larger Than Life, and you got Bill Murray transporting an elephant, and it's supposed to be this whimsy little comedy. I don't recall laughing once during this movie, and it was a film with Bill Murray. His father was a circus clown, left him an elephant in his will. Great, you'd think Bill Murray and an elephant could have made an interesting comedy. It was a shitty road trip. An F. Horrible. Now, the next two movies I want to talk about are only a little better than Jingle All the Way and Larger Than Life, only because the production values to these movies were at least good, but not much else. So which one will I start with? Well, I think I'll start with Space Jam. Space Jam made me appreciate Who Framed Roger Rabbit so much. Because Who Framed Roger Rabbit was brilliant at mixing live action and cartoon. It was funny, it was cleverly written, cleverly plotted, had a great plot twist in it. It was brilliant. I wish I could have said the same about this travesty. You know, a bunch of aliens take over, or monsters take over the Looney Tunes planet, and they somehow go to Earth, and because the challenge is a basketball game, and they recruit Michael Jordan to help them. I'll say this, Michael Jordan does fine in this. You know, he interacts well with the Tunes. He's not Bob Hoskins level in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but he's serviceable, you know. The rest of the cast, I mean, you got Wayne Knight, you got Bill Murray. I don't know, and I'd try to forget. And the Looney Tunes just kind of show up, and they do their various little gadgets. You know, you got Bugs Bunny, you got a very sexualized Lola Bunny, which for a kid's movie I kind of cringed at. But I mean, some of my favorite Looney Tunes growing up were like Daffy Duck, I thought was hilarious. Wile E. Coyote was hilarious. Yosemite Sam was hilarious, you know. Marvin the Martian. You know, I love Pepe Le Pew. But they would do their little thing, you know, and steal their little moment, but it didn't add much to the plot. I give Space Jam a D. D as in don't see it. But do see Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's a much better film. Next up, on low level, is 101 Dalmatians, which I was kind of looking forward to. Production-wise, the film looks good. I prefer the recently released Cruella over this film. But I'm going to say one thing that 101 Dalmatians had going in its favor, and that is Glenn Close, who we all know from Fatal Attraction and various other crazies. She plays a pitch-perfect Cruella. And she is the biggest strength of this movie. I think Jeff Daniels and Jolie Richardson as the owner of the 101 Dalmatians are flat. I mean, seeing Jeff Daniels go from such a fun character in Dumb and Dumber to something that he could have played in his sleep without looking at a script in this is sad. You know, we have, you know, another downside, the dogs can't talk. Like, one of the fun things about the 1961 Disney animation is that the dogs could talk. I mean, they made Babe the year before this. Come on. So, Glenn Close is a highlight. The production values, the scenery look fine. But all in all, it's a D. Don't see it. Watch the original animation instead, or watch Cruella, which some people didn't like. I loved Cruella. But this here, I like Glenn Close. That's about as far as I can go with it. Which leads me to the one film I recommended. And we didn't even get it in our theaters, and that was Bad Moon, a werewolf movie. My favorite werewolf movies are from 1981, An American Werewolf in London and The Howling. And Bad Moon is not either of those. But Bad Moon, for something that was a little more independently made, it was done well enough. Does it hold up to today's effects? Not always, but I went with it, you know. Michael Perry plays somebody who loses his girlfriend to a werewolf attack. I forget where it was. He's a photographer, and he got bit. And he comes back to the States to connect with his sister, played by Muriel Hemingway, who is a lawyer. And she's got a son, and they got a dog. Now, I love the dog in this movie because the dog knows something is up with this guy. And the dog is... I say the dog is the best character in the film. You know? And that's not a slight against the other actors. It's just the dog, I actually thought the dog was going to die. Well, the dog definitely has some trauma. But the dog was smart. The dog was actually more a hero than anybody else. Michael Perry is really good in this because he's trying to hide his affliction and knows very well he's going to have to come out with it eventually. And, of course, Muriel Hemingway is wonderful in this film, you know, trying to figure out what's going on with Perry, protect her son, who's also very resourceful. I give Bad Moon an A-, and it was way better than I expected it to be. So check out Bad Moon. It's not a bad film. It's just, unfortunately, the rest of them that I anticipated in for November didn't quite measure up. Very, very, very disappointed. You know, Jingle all the way down a toilet. Jam that space into a toilet. I didn't care for 4 out of 5 of these films, and when you got 4 out of 5 of them, with 2 of them with an F and 2 of them with D's, that's not good. So my only recommendation are these 5, Bad Moon. But hey, back with me as we conclude 1996 with December, where I'll have 5 more films, and yeah, December does fare quite a bit better. So check back with me through the Christmas season.